Sometimes in our toy collection room, things happen. I was moving my room around and I was being very careful, and this fell off the shelf. This is known to be brittle. This is the 1993 Ninja Force Ninja Lightning motorcycle, and I believe I got this in a lot between 2003 and 2005. And it's been broken once before, and I believe it was broken either when I found it. I think I'm pretty sure I got this and it was already broken, but I may have broken it pulling on this little thing here that makes it move forward, and I did glue this back on. Now technology has changed since I was repairing this, and what you do is you pull this out and it makes it go forward like that, and that catches onto the back wheels, which are right here, and they're cogged, and that falls off when this breaks. Now, not only did that piece break off again, but also the front piece broke off too. That holds the front wheel in place. So I'm lucky that's the only thing that broke on this. And I'm going to see if I can fix that. Like I said, technology has changed, and instead of crazy glue or Gorilla Glue or super glue or whatever glue you're talking about, that's CA stuff, I'm going to be using Plastruct Bonding, and I use this all the time in my videos. It's a plastic solvent, and this one usually works on hard plastics like the one we see here. And I also have this one here. This one is a different one. It's a plastic weld, and this doesn't work on a lot of plastics that toys were made out of. I've tried it over and over and over again. I think it's only worked on maybe one plastic that I ever tried, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. So I never really use this, but sometimes I try this in case this one doesn't work, and if both of them don't work, well, then we got to go back to the other stuff. But this time I'm going to see if this Plastruct will work on this toy, and hopefully it will hold it together better. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to pull that out again and let that go. That'll probably just break that anyway. I'd probably have to reinforce that, and that's not what this video is about. And I don't want to reinforce it. I don't care. I'm not going to play with it. I just want to put it on display. I might have to clean up some of the crazy glue that's on here. I don't know what kind of crazy glue I used. I don't think Gorilla Glue was out back when I fixed this, so it was probably some kind of crazy glue. Anyway, I'm going to clean that off, and when I come back, we're going to try this Plastruct and see if it works and holds this together. It would be fantastic if it did. So I couldn't help myself, and I put some plastic cement on this fork here, and it worked pretty good. You just got to get it into the break. You got to match the break up really, really well. It's not a gap filler or anything like that, so it seems to be working really good. I'm going to let that sit overnight, but I thought while I was doing this, while I had you here, I would do the other piece on camera. And so what I did was I put this in one side. Put some on there. You kind of have to do this quickly, but I know this isn't very quick, but it's hard to do by myself. Gives it a second for the plastic to melt anyway, a little bit before I put it on. Careful. Let that seep in there. Now I'm not going to do it on the inside because I don't want to melt this rubber or anything like that, so I'm just going to let it sit like that. So this one's fixed and this one is going to dry, and we'll just let that sit there overnight, and in the morning we'll come back and take a look at this, and maybe I'll have enough courage to pull that lever and let that go across the table, and we'll see if it still works. I don't know, we'll see. I think if I do that and it breaks, then we'll never do that again, and then I'll use my plastic solvent and we'll try it again, and then I'll just put it on display. Okay, so it's the next day, and I did take a look at this briefly, but if we press on that, that plastic is pretty solid. That's really solid. I don't think it's going to break again in those spots, but I wouldn't be surprised if it broke somewhere else if I'm not careful. So let's get this thing on. Now I know I'm missing one of the missiles. It does come with 2 missiles, but yes, I'm missing one. So let's just see if we can get this thing to work. You pull that back, and then I don't know if I want to let that hit the I don't think I want to let that hit the wall, so let me get my hand out here, and here we go. So it works good. It seems to be holding up. The wheels are turning, and it does work. Okay, perfect. So it works good. It seems to be holding up. The wheels are turning, and that's perfect. That's awesome. So there you go. That's how you fix the Ninja Force Ninja Lightning motorcycle. And I will say that I'm surprised that those little joysticks or handles for the figure's hands didn't break, and I'm surprised that this didn't break, and also these 2 pieces here, because that's usually what you see broken on these, other than the blue plastic. But I think it's the blue plastic that's really the thing that's brittle. Like this plastic solvent cement, you don't have to use this. There's all kinds of this stuff you can find, different brands. And if you go to your local hardware store, there are plastic solvents for plumbing that you can use for PVC, ABS, and styrene. It will work. For some reason I just bought this, but then going to my local hardware store, I did find other solvents that you can buy just off the counter, which are way cheaper than buying this stuff. This stuff was like 35 bucks a bottle, but it does last a long time. I've had this quite a few years, and the other one I had probably for at least 4 or 5 years. So there you go. Well, thanks for watching this episode. I hope this helps anybody who's got one of these out there. As long as you have all the pieces, you can glue it back together. I would plastic weld it together, which is what you're doing. And I wouldn't recommend using any type of CA glue. Watching, and stay tuned for my next episode. See you later.